Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RTA Season 32 Legend Tournament. My name is Evan, and with me at the virtual desk, it's Topa V. What's going on, Topa?
Not much. How are you doing, Evan?
I'm doing great, man. It's late at night, and we got the top 4 players from the most recent ranked season of RTA. We've got them set up in a bracket, and we're going to make them fight until we've narrowed that number down to just one champion to go into the Hall of Fame. It's going to be a fun one. We got some big names tonight, man.
Yeah, we definitely do. We have the defending champion, Pooh, here. We have a 2-time and a 3-time legend champion, as well as, someone that hasn't won a title yet, but has been here multiple times. So we got very, very strong players here tonight.
Household names, all from different areas of competitive Summoners War. So if you've watched SWC, you'll have names you recognize. If you watch these legend tournaments with us, if you stay up late, God bless you, you'll see people who come every time. It's going to be real fun, guys. And we'll see if Pooh could maybe defend the champion title this time around, this quarter for the legend tournament. Maybe Kelianbao will shake things up, Sphinx, or Tars, and like Topa alluded to, we've got SWC champions in there. Kelianbao being SWC 2024, Tars being 2022. We've all seen the meta plan out. Topa, what do you think of the current meta from the most recent season of RTA?
The meta is, it's quite LD heavy at the top. There's, a lot of LD speed leaders in like Silver and like Gojo that have been very prevalent. And, paired of like Loras and Tianlangs, but then also like Twin Angels have been made on the rise. And we'll definitely be seeing some of those here today as well.
That's right. The top 4 players carried on the wings of Twin Angels and Veronicas and more. So this is the overview of tonight. We stand at the precipice of the Legend Tournament. Season just ended. We've got a few games ahead of us today. It's just a few games for a few of the top players. Best of 5 the whole way through. We've only got semifinals and finals tonight. By the end, we'll have our legend for season 32. And with that comes the name in the Hall of Fame. You get a mount for Elia. This time it's an arcade octopus. There's 2 words that I didn't think I'd see together. We also got the Celestial Patrol Twin Angels, as well as the Ghostfire Aura, and some unique prizes if you happen to be the legend. Like you get that little statue that you get to put on your island, so that way anytime someone comes to visit you, Topa, they know that you're rank 1.
Oh yeah, and some of those players already have those, and they're looking to collect even more. But the season just ended, so I hope everyone in chat was able to secure the rank that they were looking for.
And it was honestly like a pretty tight window for securing the top 4. We had some people even playing for that 5th position for a while and streaming the whole affair, huh, Topa?
Oh yeah, that was super exciting. The whole entire top 4 is within, I believe, 3 points of each other. So like just one match would change the entire ranking. And yeah, as Evan mentioned, the number 5 player was actually streaming up until the very end of the season and just barely fell short here today, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like you pointed out, man, at that point, the queue times actually become your biggest nightmare.
Yeah, but we're looking at Tar's player profile here now, the most picked and the most banned. And, we see that LD speed lead Silver as well as a Veronica there.
Seems like folks really don't like to play against that Veronica in the dome. And can you blame them? Most picked from the season, like Topa pointed out. Tars, of course, we alluded to, our SWC 2022 champion, as well as 2-time Legend Tournament champion. See if he could come in here and secure a 3rd win. We got Sphinx, frequent Legend Tournament guest, though hasn't secured a title yet, Topa.
Yeah, he's definitely, looking to get that win here tonight. And we also see, a lot of speed-heavy units, and also Sonia in the most banned slot, even though it's not in the most picked. So that seems to be a unit that his opponents are or have been fearing in the ladder a lot.
Yeah, it must be something that really just... Sonia, as well as like those last-minute snipe picks, like Federica, those tend to soak up bans often. So it makes sense that it's appearing down there. I also see Tion Lang in the most banned category, but not in the most picked. So we know that Sphinx has got some cool pocket picks to bust out. We'll see if those come into play today. And then there's Kelianbao, SWC 2024 champion and 3-time Legend Tournament champion. Honestly, Topa, if anybody could take this title away from our returning champ Pooh, I think it'd be Kelianbao.
Yeah, I mean, Kelianbao is definitely a safe bet there. And I mean, he really doesn't even need an introduction. As Evan mentioned, the current defending SWC champion, as well as, he did win, I believe, 3 out of 4 legend tournaments in so very, very strong, formidable opponent here.
100%. It's very rare that you see someone rune gap people in SWC, and that's what it seemed like for Kelianbao, and that is absolutely insane. And last but certainly not least, it's Pooh taking the number 1 position in the ranked season, and again, defending champion for the Legend Tournament. Let's see if he can get it back again, take away the title from all these competitors that are hungry for it tonight, Tova.
Oh yeah, that is very interesting. Most picked there. Sonia actually being the most picked monster for Pooh. Wow, and they're also the most banned. That's not surprising, but most picked. You'd think that. I'm sure he has some answers against Leos and maybe Carlos and other units that like Sonia might fear, but that's very, very interesting. And here we can also see the bracket that will be taking place tonight, Evan.
Yeah, so number 1 and number 4 paired up against each other, and then number 2 and number 3. So Pooh versus Tars, Kelianbao versus Sphinx, for a total of 3 matches tonight, all best of 5. So we start in the semifinals, find our first finalist, and then conclude that in the second round. So continuing off that last conversation you brought up there, Topa, it's like we saw Sonia in the most picked slot for Pooh. It kind of brings up the conversation about ladder picks versus tournament picks. How likely do you think it is that people are going to draft what they've been playing on ladder in tournament? Do you think they're going to stick to their guns, what they're most comfortable with, or are they going to bring out some secret weapons?
I think it's going to be a little bit of both. Like those first few picks are probably going to be pretty safe, comfortable picks. They are the meta for a reason, so they're hard to counter, hard to combat. But then, in the last couple slots, we may see some surprises, or maybe I know Pooh in some previous legend tournaments has just gone like a complete 180 on his draft, and just maybe anticipating that sort of fast play and then being able to just swing it or take it down a little bit and go some sort of turn 2 draft.
Yeah, and I'd also like to know when some of these most picked, most banned categories were taken from, because I couldn't help but notice that Jongnam was kind of notably absent from those, unless maybe I had forgotten one. Regardless, we're going into the first match, set 1. We've got Pooh versus Tars coming up here. This is going to be a big game, guys. Our first best of 5 in the Legend Tournament for Season 32. Pre-bans go out. Sekhmet and Ramayon Judaya are taken out, Tova.
Yeah, no surprise there on the pre-bans. That is, the Water Twin Angels has been extremely strong, and then as well as Sekhmet, those are 2 definitely, speed contesting units here. And Tars looking like he's going to be locking in that Gianna first pick, another speedier unit here.
Yeah, and another good unit, Gianna got that very important buff, then that nerf, and so, but she's still so important. There's Jongnam. Speak of the Jongnam, and he shall appear, dude.
Yeah, that's a unit that I didn't mention earlier as well, but he is definitely on the list for a nerf candidate as well. He has been so strong in the season, as well as in other competitive play throughout like SW European League as well as the Summit, and Pooh pairing that up with another Twin Angel as the Water one got banned, and then Tars responding with even more speed here, Evan.
Yeah, the Veronica. So Tars has made it abundantly clear that he wants that first turn. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Hagang come out from Pooh, though I don't love Hagang. I actually prefer Jameer, was going to be the last half of that sentence, because Hagang unfortunately doesn't work that great against Veronica. It's a really good pick against Gianna, but having your cooldowns increased means that your bar gain is going to kind of go to waste.
Yeah, I do like the Jamar pick here as well. Neither Gianna nor the Veronica actually have like any sort of a gap closing mechanic. There's no attack bar pushback or attack bar increase for your team. So, getting that Jamir, and then maybe even if like Twin Angel skill once, you can like boost up your team. But now Tars is not letting off the gas. He picks another speed in the Sierra, and that Sonia is making an appearance here.
Yeah, he kind of hovered over that for a little while. Seemed like he was really debating whether or not he wanted to lock those 2 in. But the Sonya here is a really cool option. Yo, Pooh with the Acroma bringing TOA to the Legend Tournament right now.
Yeah, Chroma, Pooh's definitely locked into this slower turn 2 draft here, so Chroma is a very solid pick. I think he still has to ban out this Sonya here, and hopefully he can weather the rest of the storm that is coming from Tars.
Yeah, because I don't think too many of the monsters that Pooh's picked are typically Sonya proof. So, like you said, Sonya's banned out. We still got the sisters on the side of Tars over there, the Gianna and the Ciara. Great pairing because Ciara can detonate everything Gianna puts on. We are off to the races here, Topa.
We are. Veronica taking that first turn here, looking to get that reset, especially on the Miying, but misses the Miying. Now, Miying will be able to cleanse this stun and put up some heal over time here as well.
Only missed on arguably the most important unit. So he's able to quickly cleanse up and get that counterattack buff up. One of the most impactful buffs from the most recent balance patch. Miying has been tearing it up, man.
Definitely. He is, to me at least, the clear winner, if you would say that, from the last balance patch. And, Tar's already kind of on the back foot here, but does land that bomb very nicely on the Miying. Now looking to get the stun when the passive is off cooldown, but does not connect that either.
Yeah, Tars is getting some really good damage in thanks to those bombs, but like you said, man, he is not. He's getting resisted where it matters.
Oh yeah, for sure. And look at those Miying counterattacks. It's almost half HP that Oliver right off the get-go. That is a lot of damage coming in from that Miying.
Holy, yeah. And also, considering defense breaks are on two very crucial units right now, even though Pooh's general HP average is lower, I'd say that he's still trending ahead than Tars.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that assessment here. This Acroma can't be stopped. She's about to move here, and there are two defense broken targets. So she has her pick, and even getting a violent proc, that is going to hurt.
Huge proc. That's going to set up the Wind Twin Angels to take that kill on Oliver. All of a sudden, Pooh taking that lead that was just merely apparent before, and we've got one on the board in favor of Pooh right now, Topa.
Yeah, he is coming in strong here, although, coming with that turn 2 draft here as well, still showing that potency of going first is not everything in this game. Maybe if you get a little bit of luck going your way with a couple of resistances, you can definitely still get a very, very convincing victory there.
Would love to get a look under the hood on that Miying and see if there's 100% res waiting for us down there or something. Maybe he's teched against situations like that. Probably not, but honestly, I think those resistances really did play a factor for him. I mean, imagine if those bombs stunned him. We actually might have gotten a slightly different result there.
Yeah, for sure. Resisting that initial reset from Veronica, so was able to get the cleanse as from the Gianna stun, and actually also cleansed the Twin Angel that got stunned by that. So cleansed the full team, got the heal over time, and that really kept him in the game. We're heading off to round 2 here.
Round 2, we got folks in chat saying that they might anticipate a trauma ban coming up here. And honestly, I would agree to the folks in chat saying that. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like a Miying in the pre-ban.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be surprised either. Pooh might be looking to ban another. Oh, there's the Miying pre-ban, but yeah, Pooh is banning out another speed component of Tar's draft here. We'll see if maybe Pooh... not having the Miying now for the turn 2 play, maybe he's going to be fighting for turn 1 a bit harder here.
That's a good take. Yeah, this could be a chance for Pooh to maybe take a more aggressive start, maybe go for something closer to a snipe comp. What do you think Tars is going to bring to adapt?
I think still, he didn't even draft that light hacker in the last game, so I think he's still quite comfortable just going with the same sort of style here, but picking up a Trandra instead, so already going a bit more defensive.
He's got the hug to protect the Gianna to take that first opening turn, try to get some stuns, do a redo, maybe get a few more of those clutch stuns that she missed the first time around.
Yeah, and Pooh also, picking up that Twin Angel and another Twin Angel. He has been favoring the Water Twin Angels for quite a while now, and I guess with the recent buff to the other Twin Angels getting that immunity from 1 turn to 2 turns, now they're seeing a lot more play, and the Chroma is back in business.
low-key huge buff. We were just talking about this earlier on stream today. We were talking about what it was that made the twins so potent, and it was that one-turn uptick on the immunity. And now all of a sudden you're seeing them in droves. Like, we're getting whole flocks of twin angels in drafts just like this.
Yeah, it is definitely not uncommon on the ladder to see all 3 elemental twin angels. And I'm sure if folks had, the LD versions of them too, we might even see all 5. But
that would be
alas,
cool.
Not the case here. And we see Pooh rounding off his draft with that very strong Jongnam as well as a Josephine, which I do like here.
And what are your thoughts on the deployment of the Tian Lang from Tars here?
It doesn't... I mean, all 3 units from Pooh's side do have some sort of attack bar boosting mechanic, so it is quite nice, but also they're not like super hard countered by the Tian Lang per se. But I think it's kind of a neutral, fine pick. Also, Tian Lang isn't really weak to anything either, so definitely a solid pick there.
Good point. Yeah, it's rare that you find a bad Tian Lang placement. Then Pater to wrap up the end of Tars's draft. Purely looking at the pick bands right here, who do you favor going into round 2?
I think I do favor Pooh's side here. He has even though he has the resilience to fight Tars control, and I feel like he has enough control in his own as well to then control Tars in return. But the bans are locked in on the Josephine as well as the Laura.
And Pooh's got the infinite resistance and a chroma, and has the 2 turns of immunity given by the Wind Angels. So I think it's going to be pretty hard for Tars to actually land anything if that Gianna gets taken down. Tian Lang's skill 2 does have the strip, though it's notably less optimal than Gianna's is rather.
Yeah, and the Wind Twin Angels, they're getting a crucial violent proc, being able to apply that immunity. But this Water Twin Angel is looking very dead already in the draft.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, Ramael and Judaya is looking real worse for wear. That bomb is all of a sudden going to be enough to take that thing down, like pretty much guaranteed. But I don't even know if you want to risk it at this point. You just skill 2 this thing with Pater to just knock it out early. But that is admittedly paranoia talking. That's just like one of those things. Sometimes I especially in like a tournament setting, I don't trust dots. I don't trust bombs. That's just kind of the way it goes for me. Tian Lang showing why he's here, doing little bits of damage. All the additional damage from the artifacts kind of showing through right now. And there's the clever little true damage from Jongnam, ever present. Oh, we may have lost Topa. Hopefully he'll be back. He'll be back soon. He's not gonna see Pater knock out the Twin Angels. He's not gonna see Pater proc. That's just for you and me, chat. Pater's procking just for us. Oh, this is looking way more difficult for Pooh moment to moment. But honestly, in Legend Tournament settings and just any competitive setting for Summoners War, you don't scoop. You let it play out. Just take the extra time to think about maybe what went wrong here. Oh, there you go. Right as I say that, he scoops. And there's Topa. Oh, that's the last we saw of Topa for real. Oh, he'll be back momentarily, chat. In the meantime, I'd love to see who you guys got going into this next game. I'm already seeing some people rooting for Pooh in chat, and I don't blame you either. So, Topa, Tars evened the scales there. We got 1-1 right now.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess that game was over quite fast, and well, my prediction was definitely wrong in the draft there.
I mean, no, it looked good. It looked good for Pooh going in, but unfortunately, Tars was able to kind of knock out our prediction going in. Good for Tars, though. I bet Tars is feeling great.
I mean, I love to see that, tying up the scales to 1-1, and that means that we're potentially getting even more great matches like that. So I love that for him.
I'm all for more. We got all night, and we've got the 4 best players from the season here. Let's milk all the great matches from it that we can. To be honest, it's rare that we get to see them all throw down like this back to back. So we got another component from the new Holy Trinity showing up in the pre-ban Sekhmet. That's the second time she's been down there in just 3 games so far.
Yeah, those are the same pre-bans as we saw in the first match here. So we'll see. Tars did arguably get quite unlucky in the first game of all those resistances. So we'll see if Tars is maybe happy to run it back, and maybe Pooh will actually adjust, even though he did get that victory in the first match.
I also liked the Pater. That is a little bit of like proc bias coming in, because he was really effective at kind of just applying immunity, procking for a kill. It's like that's true for all druids. So I actually liked that if the situation calls for it, which it might. A Jongnam might be reason enough to bring a Pater.
Yeah, that's actually something that I didn't get a chance to mention while I disconnected in the last game. I would have liked to see Pooh ban the Pater in the draft phase of the last game either. I was mentioning that he had that resilience to kind of tank what Tars is throwing at him, but then he can also still dish out some control. But the Pater kind of negates any control that Pooh was able to throw down. But back to this game here, we're seeing the exact same draft as the first round here.
Yeah, this is folks in chat noticed the same thing. It's going to be a repeat of round 1 here. Pretty much beat for beat, actually. Maybe Pooh is hoping to just run it back again. Now, if history is to be repeated, then that last slot should be a Mi Ying. Let's see what Arrogant, or rather Tars, has to say about that.
Yeah, well, Tars also favoring that pattern. Oh, never mind, taking it out. But, yeah, there we go. I was going to say, he was changing it up to a pattern at Tian Lang when last time we saw the Sierra and the Sonia. But, well, look who's there, Sierra and Sonia. So we'll see.
That was a big switch up.
Yeah.
A Carnal?
Yeah. Carnal is a beefy, big, tanky unit that, even if it does get reset, it still has a sort of a crowd control and the provoke on that skill 1. So I do like this more than Mi Ying, even though, the Mi Ying was very resilient.
It's also more likely to survive what Sonia is trying to do. The way Pooh picked that didn't seem to have a whole lot of confidence, but Tars doesn't want to risk it. He's like, I don't want anything to do with whatever it is that you brought in that 5th slot. He's comfortable playing with those 4. Here we go. We're going into round 3 right now. Neither player at match point. Both have to win at least 1 more before they have a chance to move forward to the finalist slot.
Yeah, and as you... Oh my god.
As
you mentioned, the Carnal is, more... stronger, I guess, for lack of a better word, against the Sonia. But then, Tars is banning that out. But the Sonia is let through this time. And that is actually a Sonia trap Acroma that we saw there. Not only did the Sonia miss the crit, she did not have enough attack to ignore defense there.
Not enough. Yeah, man, that's gotta hurt. We all know the feeling of the wet noodle hit from Sonia. Man, it feels so good when you're the one receiving it, but it hurts when you're the operator of the Sonia when that happens. Let's see if Ciara can make a huge play. Absolutely not. I don't know if that was the caster curse or pressure or what, Topa, but Ciara is like living up to her name as the best daughter in the game.
Yeah, she is not having it. This draft is really just not working out for Tars, from not being able to ignore the defense to not landing his bombs or resets or...
This round is
good with this draft.
This round is kind of cooked. I think Tars is seeing the writing on the wall already, and it, look at the just 0 hits. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if this entire team is suddenly Sonia proof.
That would be, quite surprising given that Pooh did ban the Sonia in the first game, and I highly doubt that he has 2 copies of all of these units, and obviously there is no time to rerun in between, but yeah.
He's playing the long con, Topa. He's trying to ban it for the false sense of security. I'm just playing. But that'd be pretty funny. Ciara having a couple awkward turns ahead of her. Not only is she silenced, but she's also glanced up. So right now, Pooh very much has like the tempo advantage here, but he needs to make something happen within this window, and it looks like Jongnam's going to be the setup for that. There we go. That kill on the Sonia might have just been the game for Pooh.
Yeah, who, like you mentioned, was definitely in the driver's seat here, but he doesn't have a lot of damage. We can see that Chroma doing, 3,000 damage per default attack, so Tars could still potentially get back in this game if the CR starts landing her bombs and maybe getting some additional turns as well to get more of those bombs out there.
Yeah, and that was low-key quite the formidable bomb, considering CR was attack broken. Actually, it brought Jameer almost to half health just on that bomb alone.
Yeah, but then, Pooh also just responding right back for freeze on the CR with that Jongnam as well as the Jamar proccing out, and Tars knows it's over. That Chroma's going to take
That was
over.
Pooh's game. That exactly. You said it, Topa. That was Pooh's game to lose for sure. Like he had it pretty much under control, and I don't know if that comes down to just the way Pooh drafted, or if it was like maybe some mis-targeting from Tars. I don't know. How do you evaluate the way that game played out?
Well, I mean, I guess right off the bat, if your Sonya fails to get a kill, that's basically you're fighting a 3v4 at that point. And then the CR missed the bomb. So, then you're basically fighting a 2v4 at that point. Because two of your units that are supposed to take out the opponent's units just do absolutely nothing. And that's just a very, very difficult point to come back from.
Them's the breaks, Yeah, I'd love to have seen that game with Sonya going for maybe the Jameer or something else, going for something that maybe could have potentially had less defense. But it's honestly a dice roll unless you're confident, unless you have that knowledge going into the game. So there's not too much that Tars could have done with that. Now he has that knowledge though, but so we'll see how he puts that into this round that could potentially be his last round in Legend Tournament for Season 32. This is all Pooh needs to move forward into that first finalist slot, is one more game.
Yeah, and we can see the pre-bans have already been locked in here as well with, Tars getting rid of that meeting, even though it did not really cause that trauma in the last game as it was not even drafted. And Pooh now finally switching his ban over to that Gianna.
It's a really good point. It's like it made such a strong impression that one time that Tars just wants nothing to do with it. And I really don't blame him. He is one of the MVPs of the season to me. I think Jongnam stands above all else at number 1. And then Mi Ying's probably 2. And then the rest of the Holy Trinity is 3 and 4 in my book.
Yeah, and then, well, for me, I somewhat agree with that rating. And then we have Laura is definitely up there, as well as the Water Twin Angel that we have represented in this match here.
Good point. I like your list, Topa. So Pooh's returning to the flock of Twin Angels. Maybe it'd be more appropriate to call it a murder of Twin Angels, depending on how strong these guys end up being. Here comes the Sekhmet and the Miles. This never ceases to amazing how potent that monster can be. Like, Topa, every time Miles shows up in a game, I'm always impressed.
Yeah, Miles is definitely one of, super strong monster, getting all that speed for free and, being able to be super tanky and still dishing out, 10,000 damage every single turn and, violent proc double that. But there's that unit on Pooh's side called Leo that is a very, very hard counter to everything that Miles does.
Extremely hard counter. The most difficult counter to overcome. That's looking to be a force ban if Tars is committed to using this Miles in the game. The Gyo, on the other hand, too, we were playing around with Gyo today. You were drafting her to great effect, actually, and she is amazing against Oliver, right, Topa?
Yeah, Gyo has seen, definitely a lot more play, especially with the popularity of Jongnam too. Jongnam being a water unit, having a little bit more difficulty crowd controlling the wind units, and also very reliant on those skills. So Gyo's seeing a lot of play. As who obviously knows that his Leo's getting banned in this situation, so just opting to ban that last pick, the Tianlang, that is a very, very strong, against that Gyo here.
We're already seeing Miles proc bringing a Jongnam down to half health, pretty much. We had suppression get set on that Laura, and oh my goodness, Tars is a madman, Topa. He's going through with it anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Suppressing, nope, it doesn't matter. Still just getting that full teams slow minus the Jongnam there, as well as getting a couple stuns. Very, very high value skill 2 there. And now the Oliver is going absolutely crazy.
That was really like a good risk assessment from Tars, because I mean the payoff for that was just potentially huge. I mean, Oliver missing the increased cooldown time and the attack bar reduction significantly weakens the impact that Laura had, actually, because that's like the one time Oliver can do that with impunity because Gyo is stunned. We'll see if he can bring that back, but still, great play, great risk assessment from Tars.
Yeah, that was absolutely, huge procs coming from the Oliver, but then that miss on the Gyo, as you mentioned, just absolutely detrimental. And that might end up costing him dearly here, as Gyo now has skills available.
Truly. Now putting the suppression on the Oliver to make sure that he doesn't use those skills. He's actually, I think, mostly on cooldown right now, if I'm not mistaken, but we can check the skills when it comes back to his turn, getting a clutch little setup. That Laura is not long for this world.
Oh, definitely not. This is very much a Gyo showcase here right now too. Gyo has done almost all the work, and while Poo's team is lower on like average health, I think Poo is still in control here with this Gyo in full effect.
Dang, Skippy, you are so right, man. Like this Gyo is really taking control of the game. And look at it, she's just using Karma, putting suppression on everyone. Oliver has one skill up. I don't know if he's going to find it to be worth it. Yeah, you just ride out the suppression at this point.
Yeah, without any heals or any cleanse on side of Tars, this Gyo is proven to be a menace, and we'll see if these auto attacks, basic attacks from the Sky Surfers are going to be enough to take this victory for Tars, or will the Gyo remain victorious?
It's kind of like we were talking about on stream. It's like, what, Jongnam, he's optional. Every monster we need is in play right now. It's Poo's got a really good thing going here, and a stun on top, Topa. Oh my goodness, that's just the icing on the cake.
Yeah, but then Tars responding right back with another Oliver violent proc. He's definitely had his fair share of violence here. But and this is still anyone's game here, Evan. This is still super close.
You're right. All Miles needs is he doesn't even need his skill 2, to be honest. That's why it's like suppression is only so good, because that skill 1 is still capable of dishing out like 8k on a glance or something. And look at these debuffs. Tars has a big window here, actually. He could make something happen, assuming that Gyo doesn't get a stun here.
Yeah, well, does not get that stun, but Gyo is still doing a lot of damage. But it might come down to, Gyo versus Sekhmet at the end here. And I think Sekhmet, will take that matchup. So, yeah, it's still anyone's game here. It's really tough to call here who's ahead.
It's kind of like you prophesied. It's like a defense break from Sekhmet with a little work from Oliver, or just some clutch like skills from her. Oh my god. That took a lot of health away. Okay, if I'm Poo, I'm sweating right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. That Oliver is doing a lot of damage. And now Sekhmet having the reset available as well. We might be going to a game 5 here, Evan.
Dude, Tars might have carried this through. Kudos to him. If he actually carries this out, because a lesser man would have scooped. I would have scooped in this, but he carried it home. Look at this.
Yeah, unless this Gyo, well, she's not even going to get a turn here, never mind.
We're getting a game 5. You were right. We're getting a game 5, Topa. Great call.
Yeah, that's awesome to see, already the first match. This is not even the finals, guys. Like, we are in for
this is good stuff.
Treat.
This is good stuff. This is the sort of interplay that I really like to see at the Legend Tournament. So what was Poo missing to close that out? Was it damage? What was it, sustain? Because we didn't really see a lot of healing from him.
Yeah, I think ultimately it was maybe a slight lack of damage, or even a missed targeting there, I think Poo thought that, I have the Gyo. Gyo is great in this Oliver, so I can lead the Oliver for later. But then we saw the damage that the Oliver was doing. Had he targeted the Oliver sooner, it probably would have gone down rather easily, since it was built on such high damage there. And that obviously would have saved Poo a lot of hit points on his team there as well.
It shows just the minutia. It's like those little decisions, they account for so much in tournament play and just in RTA in general. Game 5, a chat. I would love to see who you're voting for in this fifth game. Who do you think has it for this one? Topa, any predictions going in?
I would have to say Pooh is gonna take it based on how we've been trading the matches so far. Pooh win the first game, then Tars, Pooh, Tars. So logically makes sense that Pooh will be taking this one, but we'll see here in a moment.
My only prediction is that Mi Ying makes a comeback. Is that this time, now that he's out of the pre-bans and that Pooh took some time off, I think he's going to bring back Mi Ying and change it up.
Yeah, we'll see. Once again, we see the same pre-bans as, games 1 and 3 that Pooh ended up winning. We'll see. Does Tars change his draft here? But looks like he's going to go right back to Gianna first pick once again.
Can you blame a guy? If I had a Gianna to pick in that first pick slot, I would probably be doing the same thing. We'll see what Pooh responds with. This is going to tell us a lot about how he's going to approach this game 5, and it is extremely similar to the last one.
Yeah, they are, really confident in those picks, but Tars now maybe changing out Valora, and also he has the additional knowledge that at least the Chroma is Sonia proof if he is, to go down that route again.
True. Now, I did not hate the Gyo. It's kind of like what we were talking about in between games. Didn't hate the Gyo. You made the point that maybe there was a little bit of mistargeting, like perhaps if he started with the Karma on the Oliver earlier, perhaps could have shifted things around. But Pooh is kind of thinking about this for a prolonged period of time that's making me think maybe he's not wanting to do that.
Yeah, this is the same draft that he was bringing in game 1. Now the Jemire is kind of odd, because that is a Laura on the side of Tars this time. That is not a Veronica. So, yeah, Jemire feels a bit out of place here.
You're right, because it is a response to a Veronica, not to whatever we got here. I guess, in a way, it does respond to the Oliver because the third skill can't be increased, but it's not. Yeah, we'll see how this actually plays out. But I'm with you. I think that maybe that could have been something else, maybe a little more sustained, maybe something. I don't know. We could have. I'm curious to see what Pooh wants to ban this time around. Could bring a Chroma. We know the Chroma Sonya proof.
Yeah, but Tars knows that too, so that it loses that surprise factor there. Now looks like he will be bringing back that Cardinal, which is probably even stronger in this game now that there is not that Veronica reset present.
Yeah, and Tars knows it. Here we go, folks. These are the teams for the last round of the first set in the Legend Tournament for Season 32. We are going to have our first finalist after this. Will it be Pooh? Will it be Tars? We'll find out in a moment.
Yeah, Tars was having none of that card. That thing got insta-banned. And Gianna getting that full team stun, but picking up the Jongnam here as well.
How cool is that to have functionally like a different type of Josephine effect on your team? That is such a cool buff for Mi Ying. I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with me because he's been real irritating, especially in the Spires of Ascension. But hey, you know what? For now, it's cool. Okay, so we got an increased cooldown time on Jongnam. Let's see if Ciara can actually land something for once.
And she does. Tars is looking quite good here, landing mostly everything that he needs to, but this Mi Ying is about to take a turn and might put a damper on some things here.
Yeah. Oh wow. I don't know if that's going to be enough to. Yeah, I don't think that's going to secure a kill because he's going to heal a net of 10% through this. Could see. He doesn't want to stack the heals. He's just trying to land a defense break and he's coming up dry.
Yeah, as much as we've been glazing Mi Ying here today, not this one. Although it does get a violent proc, they're missing the defense break. Had the very first hit landed a defense break, that probably would have been a dead Sierra.
Truly, yeah, actually. So, man, I would be livid if I was Pooh after that turn. By far, he is not out. He's not out yet, but it is looking pretty rough because now Ciara can spread out some bombs. The damage is going to be crazy. He can cleanse, though. He saved it for this. See, that's a little confusing, right? Because it's like when he uses his passive, he gets a free activation. So Tars might have not realized that wasn't from skill 2.
Yeah, Tars may not have realized. So somewhat wasting a bomb there, that could have been placed on the Jongnam there. Now Jongnam getting that additional turn and even freezing the Gianna, but Laura also getting a nice leap and into another violent proc. So Laura doing Laura things here.
And you can safely rip the skill 3, knowing that the bomb is going to stun up Jameer. Hopefully stun up Jameer. We've already seen a stun miss. I shouldn't speak so definitively about this. Tars very much in control of this game right now, though I don't want to count out Pooh for as long as Mi Ying's in play.
Yeah, definitely not. But now Tar's not taking any risks of that bomb, missing that stun and just confirming the kill to Jameer here. And, don't count on me. This is definitely a rather tall orb, especially getting that stun right there.
Yikes. Oh my goodness. Topa, it's looking like Tars might have what it takes to fill that finalist slot right now. People in chat are seeing it happen. We're all seeing it live.
Yeah, we are. And as we say that, CR misses a bomb, but I think it's too late for Pooh. And, I guess third time was the charm with this draft for Tars, and he is able to get that, deciding match point here and move on to the finals.
He finally cracked the code. That right there from Oliver is what we call an expeditious proc. Not a game-deciding proc, just one to speed things up. Well done to Tars, taking that first finalist slot. Topa, this is not an insult to Pooh's Jongnam at all, but I couldn't help but notice that Jongnam was probably the least impactful unit on that team every time he showed up.
Oh yeah, Tars, done his homework, I guess, knows that Jongnam is so prevalent and strong, that bringing that Oliver every time. The Oliver just kept that Jongnam in control, resetting those skills, getting that attack bar, and yeah, Jongnam just, if you don't have skills, you can't really do a whole lot.
Yeah, good point. There's a reason why 2 of the new Holy Trinity also have increased cooldown time on them, because they work really well when you can deny your enemy from having them, but they work great up against Jongnam, right? So for folks in chat, just in case you haven't heard the terminology from us yet, the new Holy Trinity is very much Jongnam, Oliver, Sekhmet, right, Topa?
Yeah, that is definitely the Holy Trinity. But then, we have some honorable mentions as well in the Twin Angels. That's almost another new Holy Trinity in itself, literally just the 3 elemental Twin Angels.
It's all 3. Yeah, for real. I referenced this earlier today, but the Influencer Invitational with Chewy's bringing those was crazy. And you know what else is crazy, guys? The rest of these games. We'll see you right back here after a quick 5-minute break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the RTA Season 32 Legend Tournament. We're back, and we just watched Tars shoot down Pooh's dreams of getting a back-to-back Legend Tournament finish there, Topo. What did you think of that first set?
We did, those were some great games. Although we did almost see the one game 3 different times in the, game 1, 3, and 5, and it finally worked out for ours in the end. But we got some highlights of, that very fortunate game for Pooh, just winning out this first one.
Yeah, extremely. Yeah, honestly, they did a great job. Like you pointed out, they were trading games the whole time. They were clearly figuring each other out the whole way through. Ultimately, though, Tars cracked the code a little bit sooner than Pooh could, and he knocked him out. And so now Tars is sitting in our first finalist slot. We still have to figure out who's going to go meet him in the finals, though. So we have another best of 5 in the semifinals coming up. It's going to be Sphinx versus Kelianbao. Looking still at these highlights, though, here, Topa, we never got to see the Cardinal in the game. I actually really would have liked to see what Pooh was cooking up there.
Yeah, we don't see Cardinal at one point was like one of the most meta-defining monsters, but these days, it's somewhat rare for a Cardinal to make an appearance. It's not entirely like unseen, but not that often. But Tars definitely having a lot of respect for the unit, banning it off both times that it was drafted by Pooh.
There's something to be said for taking out that variance factor. It's like Tars was clearly thinking, Pooh knows something that I don't know about this, so I'm just going to remove that because I'm comfortable playing against the 4. And honestly, it worked out for him. Like when he banned Cardinal, he seemed to play better. And he was all about that good risk assessment too, like good threat assessment. Honestly, Tars played that so well.
Yeah, definitely did. That's always the case. When you have first pick, meaning your opponent has last pick, you should be somewhat comfortable just banning out the opposing last pick. That means, you have a solid draft yourself. If you're finding out that you're, needing to ban something in the first 4, maybe your draft is kind of shaky because that last pick could be something devastating to your draft.
Man, and I'd expect nothing less from an SWC champion like Tars. SWC 2022 under his belt. He has 2 legend finishes under his belt too. He's trying to rack that up to number 3 to match Kelianbao. But we're going to see what Kelianbao has to say about this entire tournament. I'm very curious to see what he's bringing to the table. Have you seen any of his games leading up to this, Topa?
I actually haven't seen much of Kelianbao's games, but we're jumping right into it. We got Kelianbao versus Sphinx here, and Sphinx, on the other hand, looking for his first legend finish here tonight.
His best rank is 2. He really wants that number 1. Sphinx is also a household name in his own way because he's been around the block when it comes to legend tournaments. We've seen him a few different times. Wouldn't be surprised if that title is near for him because I feel like he's getting closer every single time, Toba.
Yeah, he really is. I believe that is quite true. I think the first time that he was in Legend Tournament, he got knocked out in the first round, and the second time that he actually did make the rank 2 spot. So maybe tonight he gets that legend spot. But for now, Kelianbao opening with a Gianna and looking to do quite a similar draft to what Tars was doing in the previous set.
I'm not too surprised because it's so powerful. But yeah, these units have been pretty ubiquitous between the first semifinals match and this one. I've got to tell you, man, I'm low-key rooting for Sphinx going in here. I'd love to see him finally get that number 1. The Wind Twin Angels too, Topa. Oh my goodness. Let's see. I want these guys to dig a little bit deeper into their box.
Well, they're doing maybe just that now with that Pater pick, but we're seeing somewhat similar drafting as in the previous sets. Like Kelianbao is drafting somewhat similar to Tars, and Sphinx is drafting somewhat similar to Pooh here, which is quite interesting to see, given that they actually had the same exact pre-bans as well. Pooh was pre-banned the segment, and Tars was pre-banned the Water Twin Angels, and now, those are also in the pre-bans here again.
Kelianbao is finally picking a couple new units here, Volantis and Eleanor. Those are the first 2 units in this entire draft that we haven't seen before. What's going to be real interesting, though, is when one of these players ultimately goes to the final slot and then they start stealing each other's picks, and maybe then people have to dig a little deeper. I'm actually a little surprised that it's taken this long for Juno to pop out.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Now that, there's Volantis and voltage. This is a great judo pick. Also, the Eleanor, I was expecting maybe to see Eleanor a bit sooner. She has also been a very, very prevalent pick on the latter season.
Yeah, persistent immunity is really helpful. And earlier today, we saw that the glance that she imposed coming into play. Oh, you know what? It was while we were watching the stream leading into this. Here we go, everybody. We're getting into the first round. Sphinx versus Kelianbao right now. We're on our way to finding who will be our second finalist today, and we're starting it off with a full team strip stun from Gianna.
Yeah, but Patter, just a phenomenal pick coming out of Sphinx here, and just completely negating that Gianna skill tree, just getting that attack bar from that immunities being removed, and then just cleansing up the entire team. But now Valandis is looking to just do the same as Gianna just did.
We're just like trading effective skills from the respective druids right now, and it's very funny the way that they answer each other like this. Valantis ultimately coming out on top here because he's the second to move, and a clutch little resistance plus a proc Kelianbao. Things are shaping up for him right now.
Yeah, but the unicorn did also get stunned there, which is effectively the same as a reset, as the unicorn transformation is only on a one-turn cooldown. If you were to get a violent proc, you would have that available, and then consequently would have the skill to cleanse available. But Oliver, not getting that cooldown reduction now, so he's going to be missing out on some cycling here in a little bit.
True that. Yeah, and he doesn't get the baked-in cooldown reduction from that skill either. Things are looking good, but the tides can turn quickly, especially when Pater starts landing big hits on Brand.
Yeah, and Eleanor not getting that clutch violent proc, and the Sierra is likely not long for this world.
Oh, she's going to get one bomb, potentially? I don't remember how far off Pater is. Oh, she gets none!
She gets one more dot is what she will be getting here before we say goodbye to Sierra here. And yeah, Sphinx is looking very, very strong here.
That's the worst feeling. That is like the worst. So we can go ahead and cleanse up that Sierra, but I still don't think it's too long for the world. Actually, he does have to work at it a little bit more. I'm realizing now that Sphinx actually doesn't have so much damage that he can confidently knock this thing out that quick. He's got to sink at least 3 turns into it.
I was really surprised that Sierra lived that Patter skill, but I didn't even see an HP bar on it, and he still lived a hit, and Eleanor getting that heal. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to make a difference here. Sphinx still, managing to take that Sierra out before he does any more damage, and still very much in control.
Yeah, Sphinx is taking that control, like you said, very much in it. Kelianbao even got an ample dose of lucky and unlucky. I'll give him that, especially missing the bomb of Sierra. So it's been a mixed bag for Kelianbao, and if anybody could turn it around in a second game, it's him. But Sphinx should be savoring this right now and thinking about how he could keep this lead.
Yeah, going back to once again the drafts being like very similar to what Tars and Pooh were doing the first round. I really like the adaptation from Sphinx though, taking the Oliver away from Kelianbao's draft here potentially. Maybe he wasn't even planning to pick that, but still getting that 33% speed lead definitely did wonders for his team and not getting all those attack bar reductions coming on his side. So
yeah, season 32 has been an age of denying picking Oliver, prioritizing that 33 lead and taking it away from your enemy. Sphinx is carrying that tradition on in the Legend Tournament. Yeah, that's a really good take there. So going into the second game then, Topa, are you expecting Kelianbao to prioritize the Oliver and take it away?
I wouldn't really expect that though. Kelianbao does have a lot of other speed lead units that he likes to use. Maybe we'll see him pick the Chandra as well as the Yuldong. I know he's liked that draft in the past. Not sure if he's still been playing it, in season 32 here, but that would be nice to see.
That would be cool to see. Yuldong is one of those units that's kind of like I describe it as a stylish unit, big damage in hand. It's very, very fun to watch. So it'd be cool to see him dip a little bit deeper into his box. He's very much playing to the meta, and there is some validity to that because you also deny it from your enemy, who is most likely going to be playing it too. Sphinx Getting ahead, though, early is really impactful for him. You know, that's super important to be able to get that one round ahead, get that psychological damage into it.
Oh yeah, you know that these are a best of 5, so it's not that huge of a psychological damage here. Kelianbao still, and you know, we saw how chill Kelianbao was even at the World Finals of SWC. So I don't think the pressure is probably not getting to Kelianbao, but still, you know, point is a point, and Sphinx will, I'm sure he'll gladly take that point.
It looks like Sphinx is taking out the Laura early, and the Wind Twin Angels strong enough to soak up a pre-ban on the Legend Tournament stage. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is not a pre-ban I was expecting here, but Laura, you know, definitely a valid pre-ban here. We'll see what Sphinx decides to first pick here. Maybe taking something away from Kelianbao or sticking to, you know, his... Well, now he doesn't have the Wind Angels.
So he goes for the water variety instead. Ramael and Judaya. Kelianbao responding with a Gianna and taking a long time to think about it. You had brought up the Chandra. Great call there, Toba.
Yeah, still favoring that Chandra, and you know, Sphinx had that Water Twin Angel being pre-banned in the last match. Now, you know, different color Twin Angel got pre-banned, so he just picks up that one. And again, the Oliver as well as the Jongnam.
Similar picks from Sphinx. I like the lockdown potential from the Jongnam. Kelianbao showing that he's actually got a number of different options he could bring. Ultimately lands on the Mi Ying instead of the Zenisek, which I think is actually pretty cool. I wouldn't hate to see a Zenisek. I do think that, strictly speaking, Zenisek actually is like technically a better counter, but I like Mi Ying more because of the damage potential.
Yeah, you know, both are definitely valid here. Zenisek might be a little bit weaker to what Sphinx is looking to draft here, especially in, you know, like that Zeratul would definitely do a number on the Zenisek here. But and then Kelianbao also picking up a Sekhmet, you know, definitely does need some sort of a speed threat here, so that Sphinx doesn't just completely run over him.
Whoa. Sphinx going super aggressive now, bringing the first Julian of the tournament. That's pretty cool. And then Kelianbao walking in a Sonya to threaten killing an early Zeratul or taking out an Oliver is a great last pick from Kelianbao. Ultimately, I do think it's probably going to get banned.
Well, Kelianbao with that last pick, you know, he only has one speed in the Chandra, so but notice that Sphinx only has one Swift unit on his side, which is that Water Twin Angel, so that definitely has to be banned. And we'll see, is Kelianbao still fast enough? He doesn't have a speed lead, and you know, Jongnam does have a very, very high base speed, but Kelianbao should still be able to take the turn 1 here.
Oh, so he gets it with the Sekhmet, but Sonya is going to get cut by the Jongnam at least.
Yeah, I believe the Oliver might be moving in front of the Sonya as well, but this Gianna is moving to hopefully... oh my god, that freeze is nasty.
That was a bold choice. Oh my god, bold moves win games, but that was a big clapback from the Gianna. How much damage can this Julian deal?
Yeah, you know, maybe that freeze wasn't also all that necessary, since that Julian did cut in and probably would have been able to stun the Sonya here. But yeah, Zeratul getting a violent proc out now too. I don't think this Sonya is really gonna survive for too long here.
Probably not too long for the world, but I think he's going to wrap up the Gianna. He's going to try to wrap up the Gianna, so that way he doesn't have the chance to accidentally lance on the Sonya, maybe. And there's Julien cleansing himself up at the start of his turn, securing the kill on Gianna. Things are looking pretty good for Sphinx right now.
Yeah, they're looking great. You know, very well played by Sphinx there. You know, not risking that glance in the Sonya, as you mentioned, to give it that attack part, knowing that his Oliver is faster, and therefore, you know, he's able to get that reset on the Sonya. And that Zeratul almost just one-shot this meeting.
Yeah, and it's a battle of super high damage units here. That actually, it might be enough to knock out the Mi. He's thinking about it right now. He's thinking, do I want to go for the Sonya or the Mi Ying? I would maybe do Sonya. It's a very close call, but just because of the damage reduction from Mi Ying, I think I'd go for it. There you go.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised at the Sonya speed from Kelianbao. Almost feels like it's missing a rune, to be completely honest, because we saw the Gianna actually. The Gianna outsped a Sonya. Sonya has 19 higher base speed than a Gianna. And historically speaking, I've been on the receiving end of Kelianbao Sonya, okay? Like that thing used to be very, very fast.
It's a really good point because I wanted to bring that up because it wasn't just one unit that moved ahead of her. It was she was frozen for a while. Like she was stuck there, not moving for quite some time. So yeah, it definitely backfired. He was hurting from losing the speed lead for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Whether it was maybe, I mean, I doubt that it was unruined, I guess, maybe Kelianbao didn't think that would be that much of a force span, but definitely not optimally ruined there, because getting a Sonya to outspeed a Gianna shouldn't be too difficult. So maybe some sort of a miscalculation on Kelianbao's part there.
Definitely. And now Sphinx is definitely at the point where he's ahead. He's got the rounds to lose right now. Like this is all Sphinx needs to move ahead and take that finalist slot from Kelianbao, which would honestly be a huge upset because even though Pooh was the defending Legend Tournament champion, Kelianbao actually has the most Legend Tournament titles under his belt and an SWC champion title.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows Kelianbao. He needs no introduction, and Sphinx is making almost easy work of Kelianbao here, which is just absolutely mind blowing.
I'm really rooting for Sphinx here, man. I think so. Here's where things start getting a little bit weird, right? Because Sphinx has generally been kind of unchallenged in what he's picking, and this is the first time where Kelianbao is like, okay, I'm going to take your Oliver away.
Yeah, Kelianbao, I guess, taking your advice a little bit there, just stealing that Oliver, but now he sees his Gianna being stolen, and also Jemire making a return, which is a bit surprising to me.
Yeah, he keeps showing up, doesn't he? People in chat calling for a reverse sweep right now from Kelianbao. That would be crazy, but that's exactly the sort of crazy that Kelianbao specializes in. Let's see if he's got what it takes to do a reverse sweep tonight. I don't know, truly. I think Sphinx actually might have the tempo here. He might have dissected the team comp. I don't know. Topa, what do you think? Do you think Sphinx got this, or can Kelianbao turn it around?
As much as I like to, believe in Kelianbao, this is a pretty tough ask to, get 3 wins in a row against, I mean, any player, and then let alone, someone of Sphinx caliber here, Legend Tournament contestant, and yeah, it's going to be a hard one, but if anyone can do it, I think it would be Kelianbao.
And there's the return of the Zenisec draft. I don't know if Kelianbao is actually going to lock it in yet. He doesn't seem super enthusiastic about these. This is decent now that he's got some cleanse options available, and of course Sphinx locking in a very aggressive last pick to just double down on that damage.
Yeah, I'm not super enthusiastic about the Zenisec here. They're sure it counters the Gianna a little bit, but there's also a lot of immunity and even cleanse from the Jemire on the side of Sphinx. So like those bombs from Zenisec, don't think they're going to be, doing a whole lot. I definitely favor a Sphinx draft here.
Yeah, good assessment. Yeah, because I agree with what you're saying. Kelianbao, I don't think has enough strip to really make anything stick for a long time on Sphinx's team here. We are going into potentially the last game of the set. Sphinx starting us off.
Yeah, as you mentioned, there's very limited buff removers on the side of Kelianbao here. That Laura being obviously the main one just takes that ban, and now he's left with just a skill 2 of Jongdam that has a 3-turn cooldown and only removes a single buff. So we'll see if, he misses the first one, but even if he lands, there's still another immunity option on the side of Sphinx. So
that is rough. Now, in your mind, Topa, is Sphinx's position worth ripping Jameer's 3rd skill from this, or would you hold it?
I would, well, especially with that Wind Twin Angel proc there, I think I would just use the Jemire skill 3. Your Wind Twin Angel doesn't have any skills anyways. just get those back, make sure Gianna stays alive, because he did not use Gianna's skill 3 turn 1, which is going to be now very, very impactful here in getting those buffer moves out, especially when the druid is in, the druid form and therefore can't cleanse itself.
Look at that, dude. Oliver just he's just rendered completely inert here. Like, he can't do anything on his turns for a little while. Like, that was incredibly awkward for him.
Yeah, I do see a potential for Kelianbao's draft here, and that is that Sphinx does not have any heals on his side of the team, so Kelianbao could potentially win out on the long game here, as well as Sphinx is a little bit light on damage if the Gianna bombs, miss or are otherwise just cleansed.
Strong point. The lacking sustain. And also, it's going to be hard to actually crowd control a significant portion of this team. He seems to be landing these stuns on kind of the wrong units here, but he's fortunate because the immunity is going to keep Oliver and Jongnam at bay.
Yeah, and this slow debuff is also doing wonders. That slow debuff is really, and as well as having the slow or speed buff on his side, on Sphinx side here, that's giving him an incredible turn advantage here, and he's able to just pummel that damage in, and now looking to almost take out his pattern here.
A 30% reduction to speed is absolutely nothing to scoff at. Like, that just nets you quite a few more turns than you think it does. It's painful. I would say backbreaking to have that thing on you.
Oh yeah, for sure. That is, arguably the strongest debuff in the game for crowd control. And now we say goodbye to that pattern while that Gianna is still hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, and he can steal something if he wants, or I would just take the skill 1 and take the kill on Gianna, but he's probably going to wait for Zenisek to skill 1 it.
Yeah, Kelianbao is definitely in the back foot here, so needs to be maybe a little bit greedy with his skills here. It really needs to get the most damage possible there, but it's all over.
Oh my goodness. Sphinx just 3-0'd Kelianbao. That was not on my bingo card, dude.
Neither of mine. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. Has Kelianbao ever lost 3-0, like not getting a single match? And those were pretty convincing victories too. Like, none of them were really all that close at all.
No, great job, Sphinx. Man, that was incredible. Honestly, okay, so without hyperbole, I would say that Kelianbao was largely the biggest obstacle in Sphinx's way to getting that first legend title. If he can carry this along, and that's not to discount Tars, but it's to elevate Kelianbao. That was an incredible 3-0.
Absolutely, yeah. That was, just really, really well played and showing the power of those Twin Angels. That was the first time that we saw the Fire Twin Angels today, but another first time here is we have a coupon for you guys.
Look at that. Honestly, guys, we really appreciate you hanging out and watching the tournament with us tonight. There wouldn't be a Legend tournament without you guys, so we really appreciate you hanging out with us. So there are some scrolls, some energy for you, so that way you can farm, get some runes, and maybe even summon yourself one of these Twin Angels, that you're seeing here. Add it to the pile. There's a lot of 11th anniversary events going on right now. So folks in chat, if you've been playing diligently, you should have quite a few scrolls saved up, unless you're like me and you can't wait to rip those scrolls.
Yeah, that is actually 5 mystical scrolls. That's quite a bit. I need to make sure to get that code in as well. Let LT32 begin with a 1 instead of an I in begin. Make sure to get that code in, guys.
Dude, I'm gonna be redeeming that. I'm absolutely gonna be redeeming that, folks. That's the semifinals are done. We only have the finals left. We'll be right back after a short break, and we'll find out who our Legend Tournament Season 32 champion will be. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the RTA Season 32 Legend Tournament. This time for the finals. We've got Tars and Sphinx queued up for the final best of five tonight, Topa. What do you think of the game so far, man?
The games have been, we started with a very back and forth between Hu and Tars, and then we gamed this almost bloodbath of Kelianbao versus Sphinx, where Sphinx just absolutely tore Kelianbao apart and took a convincing 3-0 victory.
Yeah, and who would have seen that coming? That to me was the point where Sphinx was potentially going to falter. Like, looking at that bracket, I was like, oh my god, he's matched up against Kelianbao first. This is going to be rough. Turns out, it was the best thing to happen to Sphinx all day.
Yeah, he's looking very strong coming in this final, and I'm sure he really wants it bad too. He is the one player out of our 4 today that has not gotten a legend finish yet.
Yeah, he's been around the Ledge Tournament so much. He is fiending for it tonight. Like, he is ready. He did his homework, he put it into practice, and now he just has one more person standing between him and his very first Legend Tournament finish. Kelianbao had already done it 3 times.
Yeah, there's Kelianbao is part of a very few elite group of players that have gotten 3 legend finishes. I believe it is only him and Dog Guy way back in the day that have 3 legend finishes, maybe Tomato. But Tars is also looking to join that club here tonight if he takes a victory here.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. People affectionately say that Kelianbao has beaten the game. He's got the SWC 2024 championship title. He's got 3 legend tournament titles. Like, the dude's crazy. So that is to say, Sphinx did an insane job 3-0ing him and moving into the finals to face up against our SWC 2022 champion and 2-time legend tournament champion, Tars.
Yeah, this is definitely no easy feat for Sphinx here, even in it wasn't easy to get to the finals, and the finals is going to be no different. It's not going to be any easier for him to claim his first legend title here, but I'm sure he's going to be giving it his all here.
So far to you, Topa, who has been the MVP monster of the day?
Ooh, that's a good question. I almost want to say the Wind Twin Angels. It's not a monster that we've seen it recently. As I mentioned, we've seen even the triple Twin Angel drafts, but still it's a bit more maybe not drafted as much as it should be drafted. Let's put it that way. Very, very strong monster, and I think has a good showing here tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what? Wait, hold on, chat. Stand by. We're getting unprecedented news. We're getting unprecedented news right now. Hold on a minute. Is that true? Can we get a confirmation on that? This is true? Oh my god. Okay, chat. Hold on a minute. That is all right. This is kind of crazy. So we are being made aware right now. We're going to see if this is confirmed or not when it comes on stream in a second here. But apparently, Tars just gave up the finals for personal reasons. That is what we're being told. I'm going to wait until it's on screen for me to say that is 100%. This is unprecedented, to be honest. So I think the very first time I've ever done a Legend tournament was for season 8. That's a lot of seasons, Topa. I've never heard of this happening.
Yeah, I've never even heard of a person that qualified the Legend tournament and not participate in it. So every single time the top 4 has played, technically if someone in the top 4 doesn't accept the invite to Legend tournament, it will go to the 5th player and then so on. But now he made it to finals. He had a hard time getting here, and now he's just going to be like, you know what? You can have it.
Chat, I am just as surprised as you right now. I've never heard of this. So let's all wait and see if this is 100% true. I'm not going to call it until there's a graphic on screen, Topa, because that's, as far as I'm concerned, this is hearsay until I see it on screen. That's wild, though. If that's the case, congratulations to Sphinx, because one way or another, I think he definitely fought his way to a position where it seems like he would be able to take it. I don't know, maybe Tars, he didn't elaborate. He said personal reasons. Maybe he thought that he didn't have what it takes and he didn't want to waste anybody's time.
How considerate of Tars, huh? Not wasting our it wouldn't be a waste of our time. I'm sure it would have been great games, but either way, Sphinx did put up a great showing against Kelianbao, and I mean, so far he did seem like the strongest opponent here tonight.
He did. He seemed like the most prepared. But if I had to speak, for myself here, I would say he should at least just play. He can play whatever he wants, but let's make it let's make it legit. But ultimately it's his time. It's our time. He can do whatever he wants with it, but I'd like to see him play, even if he wants to draft maybe like a secondary team like that he's just messing around with, and make it clear that he's experimenting with. So I don't know, Topa, how do you feel?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Even if you just put up like some sort of a goofy cleave team or something. I mean, I'm sure you have some sort of units like that. Maybe just make it a little bit more fun, but just this kind of left us hanging a little bit here.
Yeah, let's bring and I'm seeing this in chat too. In chat, people are suggesting let's bring Kelianbao back. Let's make it impromptu. Let's add a losers bracket. Let's make impromptu. Make it. I don't know if we have the infrastructure to make that happen. Heck, he might have hung up or distanced himself after that semifinals. But we're still here. We're still talking. I'm not seeing a graphic, so let's wait for a second. I want to see this be super legit right off the. Honestly, if it does work out like this, though. To be a legend tournament to remember. I've never heard of this sort of thing in my life.
Yeah, and we'll probably never see this again either. And I also hope that we don't see this again. We showed up here. We expected some great matches. We saw some great matches, but again, the final is the big moment, and there is no final at what it sounds like right now.
Yeah, absolutely not. I would say Tars. Get your booty in there right now. We're doing a best of 5. Who cares? It's like, unless those personal reasons are an emergency, which, if I'm being 100% honest, I hadn't considered until right now. So, if it's an emergency, I get it. So yeah, I actually low-key hadn't considered that. So you know what? We'll see. Evan versus Sphinx. Yeah, sure. Sub me in, coach. Yeah, well, that's functionally the same as just giving it away to him. But yeah, so. Well, we'll see what happens here. So, Topa, if they were to do our spontaneous idea, who would you want Sphinx to fight for the finals?
Well, I mean, he already, handled Kelianbao, so I guess I would want to see him against Pooh and see how he does there. I mean, it would also be nice to see maybe a rematch against Kelianbao. Maybe Kelianbao learned a thing or two, but with how convincing of a victory it was for. Sphinx in those matches, I would like to see him go up against Pooh maybe. And Tars did beat Pooh to get to that final, so I feel like it would also logically make sense. Since he conceded, I feel like Pooh is kind of the backup player and put him in. But
my God, it's legit. Sphinx is taking his very first legend title off a concede from Tars. This is unprecedented. I've never heard of anything like this happening before. Unfortunately, we don't have more details to share about what the personal reason is for Tars. I do, again, I hope it's not an emergency. I don't have that information right now. To me, I would have liked to see him play regardless, because I don't think that's what the Legend Tournament's about. I think it's, the joke has always been gladiatorial combat. We make them fight in a bracket until we find who number 1 is. With that said, though, Topa, I will say Sphinx played like number 1.
That he definitely did. Maybe this is a slightly tainted legend for Sphinx here, not having to actually fight his way to that or fully fight his way to that victory. But, it is his first legend, and still, he has been in Legend Tournament multiple times, so it's not to take away from his moment. And, huge congratulations out to Sphinx here still.
Yeah, one way or another, congratulations are in order. He played like the number 1, which is great. I'm not happy to see it play out like this. Though with that said, I'm admittedly lacking the information that I actually need to make a judgment call on that, right? Maybe more will come out. Maybe they won't. But one thing that will is a second coupon code. Champ32 Born, chat, and that'll get you 5 extra mystical scrolls and 200,000 mana for hanging out with us. So we appreciate you spending the time here. I'm sorry that there wasn't a finals to watch, but one way or another, you got to see. We saw Sphinx, who technically was the underdog coming into this, actually get his first Legend Tournament victory, Topa.
Yeah, that we did. And, maybe there's silver lining into all of this. You guys got the fast code. Make sure to enter that in because that expires in just under 6 hours. So, you don't have a whole lot of time to put that code in. But yeah, get yourself another 5 MS and some mana there as well.
Yeah, exactly. So one way or another, guys, we appreciate you for being out here tonight, watching the Legend Tournament with us, and seeing something historic go down one way or another. Don't shoot the messengers, chat. The reason it took so long to put his name on the bracket is because I think they were likely on the phone with him trying to get him to play. So, something really important started to happen. So, anyway, guys, this has been one to remember. Topa, thanks for streaming with me, man. It's always a pleasure casting with you.
Yeah, always been great, and good night, guys.
Good night, everyone. See you next time.